Host Mor Yelvington of Morph Transform Your Reality, where I help women step out of trauma and reclaim their power. I'm so happy to have you here for this open conversation about moms, sex, motherhood, children, relationships, marriage, and everything in between. So grab your drink of choice and let's dive in. So, my beautiful friend, how are you feeling? How are you doing? I know there's a lot of stuff going on in the world. If you're watching the replay, it's been a crazy week for me and my family. And I'm just trying to process everything that's going on. And I'm going to share with you a personal story today and see where it finds you and if you can relate to this at all. But this week has been very hard emotionally. It's actually going on 2 weeks now. And besides what's going on in the world and in my homeland in Israel, there's also some personal stuff, financial stuff that's going on with my family. And so in the last couple of weeks, I've been really in my head and emotionally feeling kind of low and not really turned on and not really my happy-go-lucky self. And even though I'm using all the tools and my meditations and all the things that normally really help me stay positive, sending light and love into the world, I still feel like there's this heaviness that I'm carrying with me. And what I realized was that it's affecting my relationship with my husband because my desires and my sexual energy has been very low. And what I want to share with you that I realized was that in order to be turned on, I had to shut down. And so when I tuned into that energy, because what was going on is like, I was physically here doing the physical things, driving my kids to school, doing the laundry, doing the dishes, cooking, doing my businesses, doing work. I was kind of on autopilot, but my brain was completely somewhere else. My energy was completely somewhere else. And what I realized was that I was just out in the world, right? Energetically tuning in to everything that's going on while my body was running on autopilot. And I was doing this trying to protect my loved ones, trying to support all the people that I love in my life, and also trying to keep moving forward and doing the things that needed to get done in my day-to-day life. And so there was this whole multitasking, energetically, emotionally, physically, multitasking that was going on. That is still kind of going on. But what I realized that wasn't going on was that me and my husband weren't being intimate. And for me, that's a big thing because my love language is touch. And so touch is huge for me. And what I realized was that I was so disconnected because of everything I was going through that I wasn't connecting to him. And this might seem different to some of you depending on the relationship and the marriage that you have. But to me, having that physical touch, the physical connection is big. It's reassuring. It brings me back. And I didn't realize how much I needed it, how much I desired it, because I was so busy doing all the things. And I talk about this a lot. A lot of us just kind of write off that sexual, touch and the sexual relations and the intimacy. We kind of write it off. It's one of those things that's very easy for us to just stop doing because we don't see it as necessary, right? It's not like water that you need to drink or food that you need to eat, or even for some of us, maybe working out, right? But what I want to tune into is, what if that connection, especially if it's a loving, supportive connection that makes both of you feel good, what if that is the charger that charges the relationship and that starts moving things in a positive direction? And so what I realized was that I was so disconnected from everything that was going on that I was physically also disconnecting from him and for my children. Like I said, I was on autopilot, but I wasn't there. So I'm curious if you've ever felt like this, if you've ever dealt with anything like this, if this is something that has happened to you. I would love to hear, so share with me. But what I decided to do was to shut down the brain. And so last night, I got into bed and I just shut it down. I literally closed my eyes and I envisioned myself shutting down the screen. Now, I normally, when I go to bed, I don't bring my phone into the bedroom. I put it on airplane mode and I don't look at my phone. Sometimes I would listen to a nighttime meditation or to an affirmation series, anything like that, to put my brain into that receiving mode. But I just closed my phone and I got into my room. I laid in bed and I put a little perfume on just because I wanted to smell good, even just for myself. My husband was taking a shower and I just closed my eyes and I just asked to turn off. I asked my brain to turn off. And I literally closed my eyes and I just envisioned this off button, like a remote when you turn off the TV. And everything went blank. And all the thoughts, all the feelings, all the emotions that were going through my head just stopped. And there was this silence. This silence. And then I asked my energy to come back into my body. I asked my soul to come back in from all the places that I was at, because I just felt so expanded, like I was all over the world sending energy and sending healing and sending love. So I just pulled myself back into my body. I pulled myself back into my body and I centered myself in my heart. And then I sent gratitude to my heart, to my body. I said, thank you, beautiful body. Thank you for supporting all these people. Thank you for supporting your family and your loved ones and all the people in the world. But right now, I need to come back to me. And so I brought myself back into my body. And at that point, I was doing this kind of like visualization of coming back into my body. And my husband came to bed at that point. And he came into bed with me. And he saw that I was kind of visualizing. So he just crawled next to me. And we just hugged. We just hugged for a while. And just that hug, just that connection, and just being really present in the moment. I was so present. I was back to myself. And I connected with him. And there was this electrical field energy that happened between us just from our hug. It was like my body just really needed to be hugged, really needed to be held in a different way, in an intimate way. Because we hug all the time, but this was different because I was finally back to my body and I was able to shut down the world. And so from there, of course, things get heated up and it was amazing. You can just imagine, because I love having sex. It's the most amazing thing ever. And orgasming together and just orgasming in general changes the world, in my opinion. Like if there's any kind of energetical source, creation power, which I'll do a different episode about this, but this is it, right? When two people that love each other come together, there's nothing more intense, nothing more amazing, nothing more creative. The energy of that, it creates babies. So it's like the most godly, highest vibrational possible. And stepping into that and having that happen and having that release of energy, the energetical release of all of that has shifted all the things that felt stuck, all the things that felt heavy, all the things that felt like they were going the wrong way. Everything shifted. And so I would love to invite you to try this. If you feel like life is too heavy, if you feel like you're carrying the burden of the world, if you feel like you're everywhere else but in your body and you feel disconnected, try these techniques. Try to shut down in order to turn on and see what shows up for you. I would love to hear what shows up. I would love to hear what comes up. I would love to hear how many orgasms you had in last night. Thank you for listening to today's episode. If this was a contribution to you, please share, like, love, and comment. I would love to hear from you more, and make sure to follow us on Morph Healing. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and remember, you are here for a reason. I see you. Love.